Tal y como se informó, el pasado jueves 23 de marzo, el ex campeón mundial de AEW, CM Punk, se convirtió en tendencia en las redes sociales luego de publicar un mensaje en su historia de Instagram atacando a Dave Meltzer, Jon Moxley, Tony Khan y Chris Jericho. En dicho mensaje, Punk reveló que Moxley se había negado a perder contra él en Dynamite el pasado 24 de agosto del 2022, algo que le causó mucha gracia ya que nunca antes le había sucedido. Además, mencionó que Tony Khan quería hacerlo luchar a pesar de no tener autorización médica. 5 días después de las declaraciones de Punk, el ex integrante de The Shield, Jon Moxley, ha decidido hablar sobre el tema. Sin embargo, a pesar de la molestia que le ha causado, no quiso hablar ni atacar directamente a CM Punk, pues menciona que le parece una estupidez y no quiere ser arrastrado hacia la polémica. A pesar de esto, indirectamente Moxley llamó llorón y dramático a Punk, ya que agregó que durante toda su carrera nunca había presenciado tanto drama como el que ha habido en AEW en torno a la figura de CM Punk. Aquí les dejo las declaraciones completas del luchador.
I would be remiss to not ask you about it, I guess. Is there anything that you would like to address with all the stuff that has kind of unfolded in the last couple of days on the internet, in the wrestling world?
No, because nothing has unfolded. It's fucking annoying. Just because somebody said some stupid shit on social media, like that's not news, but it is, and it ends up being a thing. I don't want to get dragged into this dumb shit.
Yeah.
I could fucking unload on a lot of fucking people right now. And when I start getting dragged into this shit, it tempts me to do that, but I'm not going to fucking sink to that level. But I will say this. I'm just going to give you like a tidbit of information from my point of view. The entire summer, I was not under contract. No contract. Free agent. I was at SummerSlam weekend wrestling fucking Desperado and shit. The day of SummerSlam, fucking suplexed him on a bunch of aluminum cans and shit, cut in half. It was fucking dope. I could have walked into SummerSlam that night with the AEW fucking belt if I had been so inclined. Nobody knew that because I don't put my shit out there in the world and let everybody know every fucking thing about my business, you know? I was not under contract. The reason being, if you're curious, because I got a rehab and my contract was coming up. They extended it for the time that I missed. Cool. I'm glad they did, actually, because I didn't want to feel like I owed them anything, you know? So they extended it a little bit. It was coming up. They're talking to me about it. And the last thing I wanted to do when I first got out of rehab, because all they were telling me is like basically logic would tell you don't go back to wrestling because you're just going to fall into the same old habits, right? So I wanted to just like ease back into it and see what life was like on the other side. And the last thing I wanted to do was just hurry up and sign a big long-term commitment. Because what if, I don't know, what if shit started going off the rails?
You didn't
I don't
know
know.
you were gonna feel.
Yeah. Pretty quickly, I was like, man, actually being sober is awesome. This is fantastic. I'm having so much fun. I was working with my friends, Blackpool Combat Club, me and Brian and shit. I was like fucking regal. Like, this is great. You know, and they're talking to me about signing a new thing. And I was like, if everything just stays exactly as it is right now, I'll be here forever. You can pay me in cash in an envelope at the end of the night. I don't give a fuck. But I can't tell you what I'm going to feel like in 6 months, especially not in 3 years or 5 years. And once I make a commitment, then I will push through injuries and I will push myself too hard and I will do all these things that add up and it leads you down the road or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
I was not in a hurry to make any kind of grand commitments, you know, at first. That being said, during this time period, the night in
Cleveland?
fucking what's his dick's talking about, it was in Minneapolis. It was the night he came back and was hopping around on one foot, bumping around Inner Circle or whatever after me and Jericho wrestled in a badass match, by the way. So we're talking later about stuff. Now, keep in mind, at this time, this is my whole point. I basically don't work there for all intents and purposes. I don't even work here. Tony is not my boss. I don't even have to be in this room. I don't have to do shit. So even me being in this room and offering and agreeing to a storyline that puts you over at the pay-per-view, if anything, I'm bending over backwards for Tony and for this dude and for the company and everybody. Because I didn't have to. I didn't have to do shit. If anything, I was bending over backwards. So that's it.
Okay, so here I've got a couple
That's not even controversial. No, it's all good. Like, I don't complain. I see the good in everything, and I'm just so having so much fucking fun. And like, life is so fucking good right now that I don't want any negative bullshit.
Right.
Like, I will say this, and I hate to say, I don't think I've ever said anything even remotely negative about AEW, but I will say this as an observer. It seems like, I spent 8 years on the indies, spent a couple years in WWE developmental, spent like 8 years in WWE. I have never seen so much bullshit drama in one place in my entire fucking life. I hate to say that, but it's like, and I don't know if it's because of the age of social media, shit gets like blown out of proportion.
Right.
Like, one person types one stupid fucking drunk tweet and all of a sudden it's all anybody wants to talk about. Like.
But also is like maybe just like a general.
Como ven, a pesar de no atacar directamente a Punk, Moxley se muestra bastante molesto con la situación, sentimiento que parece ser general en toda la empresa, pues según ha informado en las últimas horas el periodista Dave Meltzer, hay personas en AEW que están muy enfadadas con las declaraciones de Punk. Y eso incluiría al propio presidente Tony Khan, ya que fue salpicado directamente en la publicación del luchador. Esto fue lo que dijo Meltzer al respecto. AEW no quiere que la gente haga comentarios con respecto a este tema, pero también hay varias personas que están muy enfadadas con toda la situación. El episodio de SmackDown del pasado viernes 24 de marzo ha registrado una audiencia de 2.219.000 espectadores de media, lo que supone un pequeño descenso de 39.000 televidentes con respecto a los 2.258.000 registrados en el show de la semana pasada. Además, el show de la marca azul se ubicó en el séptimo lugar entre los programas más vistos de la noche del viernes dentro de la demografía de interés con un rating de 0,58, empeorando así por poco el 0,59 registrado la semana pasada. Por otro lado, el episodio de Monday Night Raw de anoche lunes 27 de marzo registró una audiencia de 1.843.000 espectadores de media, lo que supone un aumento de 72.000 televidentes con respecto a los 1.771.000 registrados en el show de la semana pasada. El show de la marca roja ocupó el primer puesto entre los programas más vistos la noche de lunes dentro de la demografía de interés con un rating de 0,56, mejorando así por poco el 0,55 registrado la semana pasada.